Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today for the Conscious Living Podcast, where we are here to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. I just love remembering that we have that capacity. We have that capacity to live an empowered, educated, enlightened life. And we accomplish that by being mindful about where we spend our time, money, and energy, what relationships we invest in, what kinds of things we engage as our hobbies, what media we consume. Everything you do in your life either adds to or detracts from the degree to which you're living life consciously. So thank you for listening to me in this podcast. I always enjoy having you with us, and I love hearing from our listeners. Please do me a favor, go to the podcast, hit like, subscribe, leave a testimonial for us. Everything that you can do helps more people get exposed to this thinking. So I love bringing on guests that have unique angles about helping us live life more consciously, more awakened, more aware. And today I'm happy to bring to the Conscious Living Podcast not only a colleague but my friend Cat Caldwell Myers, who we've done a few other events together before. Always enjoy our collaborations. Cat is an acclaimed author and podcaster of the Adventure Paradox podcast and book. Extraordinarily rich story. And as you can tell from her physical appearance, she's a horse girl. And she uses horses as her coaching modality. And we're going to dive into that today on how the equine energy is a portal to our awakening. So, Kat, thank you so much for being here with us today on the Conscious Living Podcast. Welcome. And anything else you want to say about yourself so our listeners can get to know you a little bit more?
First of all, Jackie, I just want to say it is an absolute honor to be here with you. From the moment I knew I was coming on your podcast, I was really, really excited. So to actually be here, sharing energy with you, with your listeners is such an honor. And I'm so excited about the conversation we're going to have. And
Yeah, good.
yeah,
And you're coming off another really exciting event too, just getting back from doing your first TEDx talk. So I want to add that as well. Congratulations. So yeah, the TEDx talk one week and the Jackie Woodside Conscious Living podcast the next. So you're living high, girl.
it's funny because we do have those moments where we're on the mountaintop, right? And the perspective is different when we're at that height. But to get up there, we had to climb, and you don't stay there. You come back down. And I think that we have such a world where we get really focused on the mountaintop, the achievement, the book, the whatever it is. I could tell you lots of different coaching certifications that I have and master's degrees and all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, who are you right now? How are you showing up? All the things you've done that have led you to this moment to be fully present. And then where are you going? And for me, when you work with a horse in real space, whatever, they don't care about your degrees.
Yeah.
They want to know, like, who are you, not just in general, but who are you to me? So like when we're talking about conscious living, who are horses when we're engaging in that conversation of consciousness of how we live? And I always go back to 100 years ago, because Jackie, it was only 100 years ago that we were connected to horses every single day to get around.
Right.
Only 100 years ago. This is a blip in history. For 5,000 years, we were deeply connected to the earth, to the animals, and to horses. And so for me, when I watch people remember who they are in the presence of a horse and exchange that consciousness, I see ancestral work. Like I really see a lot of who you came from, more importantly, who you are, what's working, what's not working, what you say, and then what you are. Because we don't get what we say or what we want, we get what we are.
I find that phrase really interesting when people see who they are in the presence of a horse. What do you who they really are? What do you mean by that? And I have to say, by way of context for this conversation, I live a good portion of the year in the Thousand Islands region of upstate New York. It's incredibly rural and it's Amish country.
Mm,
In fact, I'm building a house right now, and my carpenters are Amish. And
mm,
they arrive to the build site every day in a wagon being drawn by a horse.
mm,
And every time the Amish come over to my house, they come in horse and buggy or horse and wagon. I've had tree cutters and Amish cleaners and Amish carpenters and handymen. So I'm deeply embedded in a horse community. And I can fairly promise you the Amish are not engaged in seeing who they really are through the equine energy. So
mm, mm,
so that's kind of my experience. I mean, I actually was a equine studies minor in college. Yeah, yeah. So I rode a lot in college and then have not. I've only ridden a few with family and friends since then.
mm.
So I'm really wanting to bring like beginner's mind to this conversation
Yeah.
because I have this very personal experience with the Amish that, I mean, to them, honestly, this is my interpretation. They treat the horses like we would treat our cars.
Yep.
They
Yep.
gas them up every now and then,
Yep.
maybe take them for a tune-up,
Yeah.
but it's not like this connect, I mean, I can't say at
Hmm.
all, but they're not relating to their horse in the way that you're speaking. So
Mm,
build that bridge for me.
sure.
How do people who don't have an understanding of what the equine energy can do start to know themselves through being with horses?
Well, the first thing I would say, going back to what you were just talking about with how you see them seeing their horses,
Yeah,
right?
right. I get it's my interpretation of
The,
what I'm
but the
seeing with
next
their energy.
time,
Yeah.
I want you to look at how do you think the horses see them being seen by their masters? How are they being seen? Because here's the reality is that horses are going to be a mirror of their master to some extent, right? And of the culture in which they are seen. So think about a show horse, right? Like they've done this whole thing. And I was listening to the telepathy tapes. Have you listened to these yet? Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, mic drop, another podcast. It's one of the highest performing podcasts of all time. Telepathy tapes started, and I'll bring it back in a second, but looking at spellers, so nonverbal autistic people who have telepathic
Oh,
gifts.
I did hear about that, and I
Yeah.
did watch a few of them.
Okay. With their
I
caretaker.
knew the name,
Yeah.
but then when
Yeah.
you gave me that context, I have listened to a few of them.
So the one I was listening to yesterday, we had a long drive back from
Yeah.
Spokane, Washington. So we listened to quite a few of them. And it was an animal communicator who communicates telepathically with animals. And she said, sometimes animals will ask me questions. Like they might ask, when are they going to stop abusing me like this? Can you help me? Can you
Oh,
make it better for me? Right? Can you help them to see me differently? Can you help my children not to be butchered? Right? And she said, the very hard part about that is being honest with them that no, I'm sorry, I can't change that for you, but I hear your question and I receive it and I receive your consciousness. Right. So I think recognizing like what you're seeing. And so maybe you are the connector to that horse, like, I see you. Right. And I am energetically sending you wisdom. And are you sending me a message? And you might end up with some horses, by the way. I have an Amish pony.
oh, do you?
I do. And when he came to me, it was really interesting because I could tell that, and on average, horses have 7 owners in this lifetime. So you need
Oh,
to, on
wow.
average, right? So you need to recognize that when you take on a horse, like one of my horses is off of a racetrack, a little bit
Mm.
like a Vietnam vet, he has some PTSD. And if you've seen this very popular thing that's going around on Instagram or whatever, but they have the bells start playing for the racetrack
Oh,
and they
yeah.
play them in a barn and the horses are like, time to run because we've done that. right? Like we've trained them into that. That is now part of them forever, right? And ancestrally, again, 5,000 years of racing history, right? Like that we've come together for the fastest horse, bred for it, bred for the strongest horse, like all of these different things. And now, thank God, we are in a time where we can just connect with horses if we choose to on the level of consciousness, to show up exactly as we are with whatever thoughts we have about them, and then learn to receive their thoughts and be seen, like truly seen and held energetically by them, because a horse's magnetic field is like 5 times greater than ours. What does that mean? If we're in a dark room, you and I, next to each other, I can feel your energetic heartbeat probably within about 10 feet. A horse, you can feel within 50 feet, and they
Wow.
can feel you. So when you start to like recognize just how massive their heart is, and I've heard, and again, we're talking about consciousness, so I'm glad I can go high on the spiritual conversation. But I have heard that humans are maybe in the 7th dimension of consciousness and that horses are in the 33rd. So, like, they take in so much more than we do. And just thinking about their eyes, our eyes, Jackie, if we put our hands out about 90 degrees, I can see to this thumb, and then you move them out like this, I can see about that far. Now I can't see my thumbs anymore. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't see my thumbs anymore, right? But I can see them here, right? Horses, are you ready for this? Because it's going to weird you out. Just imagine this, okay? They have a blind spot right in front of their eyes, which means when they come up on a jump, they're taking it in, and then they've sized it up. They can't see it. They're jumping blind together, right?
Wow.
So to think about that, like they're sizing it up as they come along. They might turn their head to look at it, right? Because then they could see it. But the other thing they can see, wait for this, because this gives me chills. They can basically see 180 degrees on both sides around them, except not for that slot right in front. And guess where else they can't see? On their backs.
Mm.
And where are we? Where have we been? On their backs. That is a miracle, Jackie, that they have allowed that we have worked together through trust. And yes, there has been some force, some driving, some things that, you know, thank God we can let go of that, because now we have machines. We're not pressuring them to be, as one author called it, a living machine. They are not machines. We are not machines. We are not meant to be, right? But when we can now come together and connect as friends to elevate our consciousness in a new way that machines can't do for us.
Hmm. So when you say connect with the consciousness of the horse, I don't know what that means.
A horse's consciousness, and again, we have to be careful because we apply a lot of what they might be thinking. Some of
Right,
it's
right, right. Of
true,
course.
some of it's not. So, for
Well,
example,
hold on. Does a horse think?
absolutely it thinks.
I mean, of course, it functions, right? It functions, but I don't know. That sounds a little bit like giving it human qualities.
Mm,
That I don't know. Do they think the way that we think, or how does a horse think?
yeah, I could recommend a lot of books for you to go deeper into
Okay,
this,
yeah, yeah,
but for a surface level, it's not just how does a horse think, it's also what does a horse think and
yeah,
why. So,
yeah.
one of the simplest ways to enter the door of their consciousness is that we're predators. Now, whether you eat meat or not, your eyes are in the front of your head, which means nature identifies you as a predator, just like cats and dogs.
Oh, wow.
Horses are prey animals. Deer are prey animals. They have eyes on the sides of their head, and they have mobile ears that are designed to listen for the herd as a whole. What this means is that when you're energetically connecting with a horse, you are, and they're grounded with their hooves right down to the earth, right? You are connecting with the entire field of consciousness that you are standing in, because they're taking in the flag over there, the car that's coming up over the hill. They can smell the dog next door who's looking at them. They feel the gaze of the predator. And so when you're working with them, and again, depending on how much consciousness the horse has exchanged with its master, with its trainer, with whoever it is co regulating with,
Oh,
right?
wow.
It will be thinking about okay, I'm a little nervous about the dog over there, but I see there's a fence between us and I'm with my person. And I know because in the past, when a dog rushed us, my person kept me safe.
Mm.
They're going to keep me safe. I'm going to co regulate with them. The Child Mind Institute says that co regulation is a mutual exchange of calm between two people. But when you're working with a horse, you're exchanging the energy. And when I was learning to work with what we call a green horse, which is like a younger horse who doesn't know as much, so kind of like a puppy who's like trying not to jump, right? You learn that your energy is a mirror to their energy. So if they're scared and then you get scared, whoop, it's over
Yeah.
because they are prey animals. So to allow us as predators to be upon their back, to lead them, to show them, to walk with them. Again, the exchange of trust that comes from care and deep love and connection. Feed them, groom them, trim their hooves, lead them and keep them in safety. That's all they want. That's where the love. So like the
Mm.
way they're thinking is like, am I safe? Am I safe? Guess what? Humans too. This is
Right,
why they're such
right.
good teachers for us because we're going around like, is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? Right? I just got all these messages from social media or the news or whatever. Like, my nervous system is jacked.
Yeah. So how do you use horses as part of your coaching?
I love bringing people in to access their voice in the presence of a horse. So I see a lot of people, we'll do a call virtually, right? And they'll tell me this whole thing that they've got going on or what they want to do or what their goals are, where they are, where their struggle is. And then you take all of that energy, which is mostly in our heads, but we do take it into our bodies, right? And you bring them into the presence of a horse and you ask them to tell you again. And the stuff that's not really real falls away. It's
Wait,
like
wait. Yeah, I have to understand this. So you said you're doing a virtual appointment, but then you said bring them into the presence of a horse. So how do
when
you
we, yeah, in real space. Some people do
so would
virtual
people come on
coaching.
site to your
Yes.
farm? Okay, so people come on
Yes.
site to work with the
Yes.
horse with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I mean, I can meet people energetically wherever they are and work with other horses. It's not just my horses. It's all horses. And mind you, some horses, like with their programming, they'll be like, "You're energetically asking to talk to me? Like, nobody's ever asked me how I feel." You send them this message, right? And the same with your clients. They're like, "This is what I say I have going on with me." And the horse is like, "Really? Because I actually don't think that's what you want." I don't believe you. It's wild to witness an animal reflecting back a truth in the energetic field.
And how does the animal do that? Like how are you reading that message?
Sometimes they'll turn and walk away, or they'll just kind of lower their head. Like when a truth is spoken, they'll usually stand closer in the presence and chew or lick their lips. And we've done studies to show if you watch animal behavior, when they're doing those two things, they're like, this is true. I'm good with this. I believe in
Wait,
this.
all animals or horse behavior?
We're specifically talking about horses right now.
Horses, okay, so, understand. So, horses will do those behaviors when something rings true to them.
Yep. Yep. They'll also do a snort. We, when I was practicing for my labor, my midwife called that raspberries because it's this breath from deep inside. But when I'm
Mm.
working with my clients, I call that horse lips because when you do it, you calm down and then they calm down. And sometimes when you're connecting with them and you just do that or you sing, you'll watch them chill out because it's you getting into your space of truth and alignment, your highest consciousness, letting like what's really you come out, then the horse is comfortable with you. And those are some of the signs we see that that's happening.
So how might you use a horse in a session? You know, you said people say things and the horse responds, but like, how do you use it? How do you use the information from the horse? I don't know. Help me understand it better.
Yeah. So one thing I'm very careful of, and this is sort of an interesting space right now, and this is very inside baseball, but in the horse equine assisted learning world or equine assisted coaching or horse therapy, there's a real sensitivity right now about this being one more variation of us using the horse for our agenda. No, we're not strapping them with carts and saying, like, hey, you're going to do all of this heavy lifting and work, which might be too much. That's not what we're doing. But aren't we still kind of doing that a little bit? Like, can the horse take it? Does it want to do this work? So, the first thing, just like any great coach, it's about consent, it's about permission. So, when someone first comes, I ask them to stand at the edge of the herd and I teach them how to read the horse's energy in a herd. This is them in their natural environment. Some of them might be drawn to this person. There are things we can do to attract them. Carrot, you know? But there are also things we can not do to really know the truth of how are these horses today? Is the wind blowing? There's a little bit of extra energy. How do we read that that's what's going on with them before we come in and insert ourselves to use them for a session, right? So that's the first thing I do is like teach people how to read a horse's energy, ask for consent and permission, then learn the basics of before you even put a rope on a horse, before you even offer them a carrot, are you clear with what you energetically want today? And it might need to change. It might be a pivot based on the wind, for example. So learning to like read the room, we talk about all the time. I say, read the field. Like, are you in real space with these animals? Or are you still on the meeting you just had? Because they're
And
going to
when you
read that.
say real space, you mean present. Are you present here?
Fully present
Yeah.
in this field, fully present to every little thing. You know why? Your horse is. Your horse is fully present. And the moment you take them away from their herd to engage and work with you, they're fully dialed into whatever you've got going on. So this is where like a lot of coaching of the client and me as an energy reader and as their master, but also as the coach, right? So the horse adventure, it can change. And I think that's something that we don't really do a good job of in our world. It's like, it's got to be this. And if we don't get this, then it didn't work, right? And what if it's just meeting each other in real space to figure out what it really is instead of chasing all these other things that are out there as that is good, right?
Wait, chasing what things and experiencing what like it is good? Just the meeting itself versus going for some goal or something?
Yeah, going for a goal. So this is where, I ask people to set an intention when they come in, and we'll often pull a card from A Way of a Horse by Linda Kohanov and Kim McElroy, and they are fantastic. They've both been on my podcast. They're really, really incredible teachers. But to deeper understand and tap into that part of our brain that we don't always access, which is what you're accessing when you're working with a horse. You're in a totally, totally different dimension. So letting go of some of our humanity to some extent, although I'm careful using that word because I actually want to capitalize on our real humanity, which is when we're in real space with each other, which I think is what gets forgotten when we're like busy, busy, busy meeting, goal. We'll be at this place at this time. I have 45 minutes to make it through my intention with your horse. It's like, okay. And so this is where we talk about like entering horse time. So when I take a client on, it's like, hey, I want you to come over at this time. It'll be about an hour, but give yourself 90 minutes because in case it takes a little bit of extra time, if we're complete at 45, then we'll end at 45 and we might do another session then the next day or later in the day. But like really lowering to some extent the pressure that we put on each other, on ourselves, and on horses as we have done for all time. Because when we're in that space, we're not able to just connect to the moment.
Yeah, it's a different rhythm, right? Like horse energy feels so much slower and more grounded than what contemporary culture is like.
Yeah.
Just it's slower. I mean, again, I'm thinking of my Amish friends that, although they do complain about being too busy, which always, I find that interesting. We're
Mm.
failing as a society when the Amish are too busy.
Mm.
Um, but their pace of life, I mean, getting from point A to point B on a horse and buggy is very different than hopping in a car at 60 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour. I mean, their pace of life is very, very different. They make,
Very
they
different.
make everything. They cook, they sew, they build. It's it's such a different energy. And I think about,
Mm.
how horses fit so perfectly in that community, because their energy is also very slow, how I perceive it, kind of slow and grounded.
I think the other side of it is remembering the range of horses, because we have the slow and grounded, the Amish, like what you're seeing there, right? Which I have a lot of respect for the Amish and for, what they're doing and continuing to do and showing us what was and what still is for some people. Like, wow, right? And of course, there are always going to be spaces that we find where we're like, I wish you didn't quite do it that way, or I feel kind of a weird energy here, I'm not sure about. So staying true to ourselves in that, right? But let's also look at Arabian horses and Arabia, and like these horses that were bred that we are talking about $1 million horses,
Wow.
millions and millions of dollars. This is a very different side of the horse world. I actually
Wow.
looked up as I was preparing for my TEDx talk. I believe the most expensive horse of all time, I don't remember exactly, but it was like 60 or $70 million horse. This is another space. So this is where when you think about consciousness and you think about like, wow, the value that we place on the horse, and why is that? Is it because this horse is not because they're slow and grounded, but because they could win the race so
Mm.
fast, and their seed going to another horse, studs, right, is worth $3 million, right?
Wow.
So this is where like there's that side of it, but there's
Mm.
also this other side of it. And so again, all these sides we're looking at, is it really just us projecting our values on the horse and asking things of them? But here's the other side of it. The horse loves to play ball, right? They're like, okay, you want me to go into the arena and look really beautiful and have everybody flash lights and have this energetic exchange of like, I don't know what you call that weird stuff, but I can feel millions and millions and millions of dollars around me. Okay, like I'm here for it. I'm here to work with you because of the
Yeah.
deep love I feel for you, that you feel for me, that then when I go out there, it's this ripple effect of love, deep, deep love for the horse that is as it is. Like, just look at my painting here, right? Do you feel something, right? Do you feel that connection in you? And then we have all these things we've written around it, whether it's going slow or going fast,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's all still a horse. And it's
Yeah.
all still us, the reflection of the horse and how the horse sees and allows and elevates our consciousness.
Yeah. A friend of mine in Virginia is involved with the eventing community. Yeah. So using horses to hunt or for sport. Uh, and again, the way you're talking about horses, almost like we need permission to, or you are saying, not almost, you're saying we need, it would be prudent to have permission to ride a horse, to engage a horse with energetic therapy, to use a horse to
Hmm.
haul tree limbs from one farm to another, so that all has to do with the relationship between the owner and the horse or the person using the horse. Is that
Again, yes and no. This
okay?
horse exists in the field. So if you're driving down the lane and you see a horse and you step out and you're like, hey, can I have a connection with you?
Okay.
The
Yeah.
horse might or might not be interested. They might be
Yeah.
like, wow, nobody's ever pulled over here. Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, it could be like a golden retriever response, right? Like,
Right.
Did you bring me something if you stopped? Like,
Right.
you want to talk to me? I want to talk to you." Or if your energy is really like that lady Cat on the podcast said, pull over and talk to a horse, but I feel really weird about this. And what if it's illegal? And does the person back there have a gun? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then the horse is going to be like, I read every single one of those thoughts and I don't want to talk to you either. And you should get back in your car and keep going. You know what I mean?
You're
So
saying
it's
that
like,
horses are really intuitive.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I show you a picture?
Yeah, of course, of course. You'll have to describe it because people listen to this on Spotify and Apple, so you'll have to
So
describe it.
this is a black and white photo of my grandma,
Oh,
probably in the
wow.
1940s, jumping a dark horse over a pretty high
Pretty high fence.
wooden
Yeah.
fence, probably in the northern hills of California.
Wow,
Muhammad,
that's a beautiful picture. The
her
quality of
hair,
that photo is amazing given how old it is.
it's blurrier up close.
Okay.
But
Looks nice.
you can see it's still
Yeah, it
pretty
looks
blurry.
nice.
But
It's a
yeah,
beautiful picture.
that's a great point because it's an action shot. Like
Yeah.
definitely they're jumping. Her
Yeah.
jacket is blowing in the wind, her hair is blowing in the wind. I see this and I have a word that comes through loud and clear. But what do you see, Jackie? What would be your word?
When I'm looking at this picture,
Mhm.
I mean, exhilaration, joy, freedom, power, strength. There's a lot. It's a very evocative photo.
Freedom was the word that came through for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Just we're free together. Like we're actually elevated in space together,
Right.
right?
Right.
For this moment, right? And my grandma, and she's here with us in the energetic field because she's crossed over. And I know she really wants me to share this story with you. But I asked her at one point, she had this incredible intuition, Jackie. And I just said, Grandma, you know things. How did you know to line up certain things to get to this certain result, which you sort of knew you wanted to have happen, but you didn't know how you were going to get there, right? And she said, dear, I think it was the horses. And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And then I started to think about it. And this is all the work that we do, Jackie, that we teach people how to reprogram their minds, right? So before you enter the arena, if you're doing a jumps course, for example, you have practiced how you want it to go. But if you're maybe not in a great place, you might be practicing how you want it not to go. Like, oh no, don't spook at that jump. Don't look at the water. Like, please get over it. If that's the energy you're leading with, your horse is like, did you say spook at the jump? Did you say don't go over the water? Versus you play it out exactly how you want it to go. You
Mm.
put it into the energetic field of like, oh yeah, I'm going to come in. We're going to pick up a nice canter. And then we're going to have 4 strides. First jump, 2 strides. Second jump, I'm looking left to the next one. And we're cantering. And we're good. And we finish. Blue ribbon. We're done. I'm happy. My horse is happy. The crowd goes wild. This is the energetic blueprinting that we do in our minds. We learn whether you're on a horse or not. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
right.
wake up. I'm going to have a good day. I'm
Yeah.
happy and blessed. I'm
Spiritual power
programming
of
this.
imagination. Spiritual power of imagination. See it to experience it. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you, Kat. I feel like I've learned a lot. And I'm going up next weekend up to New York for the build to see what's happening with my house, and I think I will see the horses a little differently.
Yeah. And they'll see you a little differently.
Yeah, and I look forward to connecting with them. Yeah, exactly. Um, People who are, interested in learning more about this, looking more at your work, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
My website is a great place to start, theadventureparadox.com.
Okay.
We've
The
got
Adventure
lots.
Paradox.
Theadventureparadox.com. You can also find my podcast, The Adventure Paradox. And we have a lot of information about the adventure horse coaching certification that I'm rolling out, and some retreats for influencers coming up, and lots of really amazing things. And in fact, I don't know when this is going to drop, but we're recording in February, and ski joring is a really big thing right now, which is a combination of a horse pulling a skier believe it or not. And they're working on qualifying to be an opener for the 2028, or is it 2034 Olympics in Salt Lake. So
Wow.
it's a really exciting time. I live in a mountain town outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is where I really invite people to come to me, although I can travel to people and help you find horses near you, which is, there are always horses around. We just have to follow the manure.
Right. Exactly. Well, Kat, thank you so much for being here with us and for bringing such an interesting perspective on how we can open up to the animal world through horses and live life more consciously. It's really great to be here with you.
Oh, I love you, Jackie. Thank you so much, and bless you, and hope to see you all in the energetic field with horses.
Beautiful.